Hello.
This is the Female Show with Nana Adjoa Sifa. You are watching the Female Show with Nana Adjoa Sifa. This is the Female Show, the show that nails the exceptional stories of females in the agribusiness and food industry. You are watching the Female Show with Nana Adjoa Sifa.
Hello, everyone. Good evening from wherever you're watching us from. It's been a while. I know you missed the Female Show. We also miss you. So like I say always, this is the only show now in the world that mails the exceptional stories of women in food and agribusiness. Today, I have an amazing guest, and I'm going to introduce her later. But before then, let's give thanks to our sponsors. So we are thanking OA Pay for sponsoring this program. OA Pay, if you are in England or anywhere in Europe and you want to send money to Ghana or Nigeria, trust me, your best bet is OA Pay. OA Pay. And because you are watching us or listening to us on Reach More, you have your promo code. So if you're going to send money to Ghana or Nigeria, just use the code RICHMO, RICHMO, and you're going to get £10. Yeah, I know you see $10 on the screen, but yes, you're going to get £10. Free, of course, it's for free. So please, what are you waiting for? Don't use any other platform other than the OA Pay. It's safe, it's secure, it's reliable, and yes, that is the only place you get double for your money. So please send to Nigeria or Ghana with OA Pay. And don't forget, if you're sending for the first time, use your coupon code RICHMO. RICHMO. And you're going to get £10 for free. All right, so back to the studios. Today, I have a guest. I've known her for a while. I admire what she does. And recently, at a summit in London, I saw her on the screen and I screamed. I'm like, yes, I know her, the superstar. So she is the group CEO of Michigan Group. I like what they do because they are giving us high grade products that is organic, right? She's going to tell us more about her products as well as the Michigan Group. So let me just bring on my guest, Louise, Annan. Hi, darling.
Hi, Nana Adjoa.
How are you doing?
Doing very well, thank you. How about you?
Very well, thank you. So
Amazing.
I'm done with your introduction. I just want you to tell us who you are and what you do.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I am Louise Annan, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Michigan Group, where we 100% organically farm and process high-grade non-GMO cotton, which we process into lint, threads, fabric textiles, as well as seed oil. We also process our end products, our byproducts, into other products, hence running a circular agribusiness model. That I am Ghanaian. I lived half of my life in Ghana and the other half in the UK, and I'm back in Ghana where the Michigan Group is located and where we are starting our production. Aside from farming and processing cotton, I'm so passionate that what we do is an enabler, and we work mainly with individuals that are disadvantaged, especially those that have physical disabilities, in order to provide stable income and also to reduce the number of people, especially those that have physical disabilities, that are begging on the streets of Accra and other regions in Ghana. It's lovely to be on the show. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm also passionate about what you do. I love what you do. especially because of your target group and the people you work with, right? So now let's break down everything into. I mean, let's break it down. So we talked about the Michigan group. What do you do? So we know about the high grade products. We know, like you just said, what exactly do you do? Is it a group? How many companies are under the group? Can you tell us more about it?
Yes, so the Michigan Group at this point in time consists of three organizations. The first one is Michigan Farms, that involves the farming of the cotton. The second is the Michigan Clothing and Batiks, where we will process all that covers the manufacturing of the products that we farm. The third is our NGO, which was what we initially started with, called Capstone Africa, where we mainly focus on rural development projects. Capstone Africa at the moment is on hold just so that we can develop the business aspect of the Michigan Group. But our passion is that once we are profitable, profits from the group will go into working with individuals. I'm going to also cover projects, rural projects of the villages and towns and regions that we work in. So in terms of the Michigan farm, what we mainly farm at the moment is cotton, but we are early stage, we're an early stage startup, and we have successfully developed a proof of concept. Because it's a new strain of cotton that we are growing,
Yeah.
we've been able to plant a sample,
Right,
harvest a
exactly
sample.
where my interest lies.
Yes.
Right. So
So we've
I'm really
planted,
interested.
we've harvested our sample, and we've also been able to turn part of our sample into thread. We've had it hand spun
Yeah.
into thread, and it's such an exciting process. We've also thankfully been awarded a grant, and with the grant, we'll be
Yeah, so
able
before
to
we
work
even
further.
before we even go there, let's talk about the
Yeah,
farm.
okay.
I mean, I've not seen, well, I'm yet to see a young,
Yes.
pretty lady who wants to
Oh,
actually go through the hard way. So you could have actually gotten the cotton from anywhere, maybe Africa, Europe, America. Why did you decide to plant? How many years does cotton take?
oh, it
I
doesn't
mean,
take
from
years.
start to finish,
It
just a
under the
year.
right condition. No, it doesn't. Not even a year. Under the right condition, it takes 6 to 8 months.
Wow. And you had to go through all that to get us cotton. Why did you decide to do that?
So in 2011, I was in Ghana for a period between 2011, the last quarter of 2011 to the first quarter of 2012. And when I was back and, going through the streets of Accra, I noticed the uh, the amount of people begging on the streets had increased vastly compared to when I was growing up. And also, there were more people that had physical disability. So I started thinking that, oh wow, this is only because we didn't have the infrastructure and the facilities to care for individuals that had physical disability. So I started thinking of ways that I could bring about employment that would be able to pay them and pay them well enough to get them off the streets. Because one thing I was told was people will not stop begging because they feel they get more money off of begging than what is offered as a minimum wage then and even now. So I started thinking of ways, and the immediate ways that came to me was cloth weaving and batiking. And so I started looking around at the materials and the clothes that were available. But my target market is those that were in the luxury sector. My goal was to sell the things that we made to businesses in high-end fashion, and so that we'll be able to give a much better job rate for those who work for us. Unfortunately, the cloths and the threads I came across were not of the highest quality. These were not products I could create anything further with. And I wanted there to be integrity in what I did. I didn't want to say, oh, this is the most expensive or high end, when I knew, in fact, it really wasn't what my target market was looking for. So I felt strongly to go all the way and start from the beginning with cotton farming. and not just regular cotton farming or farming that uses conventional methods. What I mean by conventional methods is the use of pesticides and other chemicals in production. So I felt strongly that it should be 100% organic, especially that it's safer for the environment, but also for those who will be farming directly themselves. And so I felt strongly to go into cotton farming myself. Thankfully, so my first degree is in economics and French. And the dissertation I wrote for my end of year thesis was on the problems of developing countries that are dependent on primary commodities. And I did a case study on Ghana. And as part of my case study and my research at the time, I found out that we did grow cotton in Ghana between the last end of the 50s to roughly late 70s, thereabouts. But it didn't, after roughly 20 odd years, we barely have any cotton production in Ghana. I know of at least 2 businesses that were attempting cotton farming, but they have I don't really think a lot of them are in business, or those that are might be struggling. But the Mishkan Group and Mishkan Farms under the Mishkan Group is the only organization currently 100% organically farming cotton or seeking to farm cotton. So that's
Wow.
how we start.
Wow, that's really inspiring. So now I just want to go into the challenges. So you said in Ghana, I mean, those days there used to be only 2 companies, right? What have you learned
At
from them?
least
Why did
two.
they?
At least
Yeah.
two. So two, I went and I went directly to 2 farms.
Okay.
Um, the struggle for the main one I saw was they just didn't have the capacity. They didn't have the capacity for large scale farming, although they had the land. They did not have the capacity or the ability or the structure to process the cotton. So those that were farming or are farming cotton don't process it into further, so that we don't have any end products of those that are currently farming cotton. Um, so it was the capacity, they had the land, but not the capacity. They did also with cotton to process it, there's a ginning factory or a gin for short, which they didn't have. There was another business, and I was told that they sent their cotton to that other business for them to process. Um, but they felt that there was not clarity in how the process was done in production
Mhm.
with the other business.
So
So
in all,
there's no clarity. Also, it's very competitive. There wasn't much trust. I could see there wasn't much trust between that business and the other one. But also, I feel the type or strain of cotton that is currently being grown is not the best. It doesn't give off the best strain or the best end product. So with me, I know because of my target market, I'm purely seeing things, and because I know what we can get from cotton. I've been working on this since 2011, and I've studied the market. I studied the cotton, even without realizing it. When I did my thesis, my end of year first year thesis in 2006, there was so much that I discovered about cotton, and I just did that as part of my study, not knowing that I would get into cotton farming myself. So the my study, my research thesis in 2005 to 2006, as well as starting this business, the project from 2011, has really, really, really enabled me to understand cotton, the process of farming, the market. At the time that I was pushing for organic, and I also met people. I met professionals within the cotton farming industry, and I was also advised, and that's a great thing. I've had great advisors, and I was
right.
also advised to go purely organic. So I've had, aside from the passion, I've had the confirmation. So even though 2011 at the time, cotton, there wasn't much demand for organically farmed cotton. However, there is now.
Right.
And so the
Okay.
past 10, 11 years have allowed me to really know my market, study my market, and know my products.
I love it. I love it. We'll come to that. So, in case you just joined us, there's the female show on Richmore Radio and Richmore Media. So, if you're in London, I know that you're listening to us on Richmore Radio. If you're on YouTube, kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel, so Richmore Media. If you're on Facebook, we're also live on Facebook, Richmore Media. Today, my guest is Louise Annan, who is the founder of the Michigan Group. She's telling us about Michigan Group, about cotton, about integrity, which I love most, and why she started the Michigan Group, the challenges she's faced, and of course, what she has learned. So, if you just joined us, please listen to us or watch us and share the link so that others will also learn from her as well. Thanks to our sponsor, OA Pay. If you are in Europe and want to send money to Ghana or Nigeria, OA Pay is your best bet. Kindly use OA Pay. Go to their website or they have an app. Just download the app and start sending money right away. If you're using OA Pay for the first time, use the coupon code RICHMO, 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 and get a whoopee £10 and sent to your family and friends in Ghana or in Nigeria. Thank you very much, OAPay, for always being there for us. Now back to you, Mary Louise. So, all right,
Hi.
now I know about the challenges. Currently, I'm also facing the challenge now. If you can see me sweating, I'm trying to change my camera and all. I mean, it's all work. So viewers, never mind. I'm an agribusiness entrepreneur, so I need to do what I have to do anyways. So pardon me. And if you hear any background noise, please pardon me as well. So yes, the Michigan Group. Now we're talking about the Michigan farm. Where is the farm located? And you have already started. So how was the sample harvest like? What did you harvest? Did you get the grade, the high grade you were looking for?
So we are the farm. It's actually a sample site is located in the Ashanti region. I'm not going to say exactly where just yet. And so what we did with our sample is, it's such a beautiful product. So cotton does not grow as most people would. Those that do know of cotton would know cotton as probably growing to the height of around one's waist, hips to waist. But our cotton is wild cotton. It's wild and it's also long staple and it grows as tree shrubs and grows taller than a single-story building. So you can imagine it's absolutely beautiful. I'm so in love with it. It grew so well. We did have some setbacks, so we learned a lot. We learned in the beginning stages, we just planted the seeds directly, which was not the best because they had been used to growing in a particular type of soil. So we had to take them out because a lot of them just died, and wean them, if that's the word, in a nursery and then retransplant again, which was better. But a number did die, but it's so good. We learned. But they grew so beautifully. Oh my gosh, the hedges. I don't know if I've sent you the images just yet, but they grew absolutely lovely. Such green crops. It was so exciting to see the flowers coming out and going from a bulb to pink flower to yellow and then getting the ball. And what so we call that, the white when it starts coming out of the flower, we call it a cotton ball, BOLL.
Mm.
And then when the ball started coming through, we were excited. And at the right time when it was mainly sunshine that we're getting. Oh, they were just beautiful. They just exploded as though they were waiting for the sun. They exploded and they were really massive, which was really exciting. And because it's 100% organic, we were using neem, but it turned out that maybe the percentage of neem or the amount of neem we're using might not have been the strongest, or maybe it's just that the pests, cotton pests, are just of another scale of strong.
Mm.
So we had an issue with pests. And I remember when I was told, I was thinking, oh my gosh, it's been such good news so far. Well,
Mm.
I didn't want to deal with pests. I didn't think I was going to ever deal with pests because it wasn't an issue at all for like the first however 4 or 5 months. And then so we worked together with an organization that produces organic liquid fertilizer aid,
Mm.
and we went there. So we went to the site, and what I saw shocked me.
Mm-hmm.
Our shrubs were still growing in spite of the pests. So I saw the pests, and they're really disgusting, and they literally overrun. They're worse than ants. They really just overrun. But what really encouraged me was that the our shrubs were growing. Obviously, some plants, but not the whole shrub. They were only able to get certain twigs or certain branches. So some of them were affected, but the shrubs were still growing beautifully. The flowers kept coming out. So even though there were pests, they were still growing, and they were still fruiting. I thought, wow, this is amazing. It showed me how resilient this particular strain is. It
Mm.
really, really, really encouraged me. Um, the second thing was after we'd harvested, um, we had to prune. So we ended up having to prune the shrubs because they grew so much. It ended up being like a mini forest. So we couldn't even go through our shrubs because there were so many branches and balls. However, there was the media team from GIPC that wanted to film our site, which was sadly after we'd already harvested our cotton. But when we went back on site to have the filming, that's I believe that's what you saw. You could see that the shrubs were quite thin, they were quite sparse because they'd already been pruned. But when we went, we'd already harvested, there was still cotton growing, and this was past harvest season. This was past harvest season. So in as much as the fact that they were not as full as prior to being harvested, they were still growing. The flowers, the cotton was still growing, the flowers were still coming out, not as much as before. And there was still good cotton growing, and that was just amazing for me to see. So that normally cotton is harvested every 6 to 7 months. But that encouraged me to say, no, there's something more here. There's something
Yeah.
more here. Um,
Right.
and so it's been so exciting for me.
Okay. So in
And the
Africa, I know about the Egyptian cotton. All right. So I would like to see the Ghanaian cotton by the Michigan group. How different is your cotton from the Egyptian cotton? I mean, in terms of
so,
quality.
funny enough, when we gained our independence and there was a partnership, there was the partnership being formed between Ghana and Egypt. Then President um, President Kwame Nkrumah and the Prime Minister at the time of Egypt, the Prime Minister gifted Kwame Nkrumah cotton seeds. So we had Egyptian cotton seeds to grow.
Mm.
That was
And is,
what those were the
mhm.
seeds that were growing. So a number of people that I know within the cotton industry department have gone to Egypt even recently for training. But obviously things did not were not maintained as they could have been maintained, and we've lost that. What is happening with the cotton we are growing is that it's wild cotton. We are looking at which is of high demand and of high quality. And because we're still finding out more about it, we are in the second stage of our proof of concept to do more testing, to develop it further, to know the exact level of quality, the exact state. But the first thing that it's wild cotton, which is highly valuable. Wild cotton where it's grown, it has its own strength. So we are still learning and finding out more about it. Also, it's long staples. So just as with Egyptian cotton, there are different strains of Egyptian cotton. And what I want to see here in Ghana is that we develop our cotton industry. I'd love to lead that, develop our cotton industry, develop different strains, hence the strain that I'm working on. There are other organizations that I know that also looking to bring cotton back into Ghana. So I believe it's a time for us to foster partnership and work on developing our strains. What we need to look at is quality, is longevity, and yes, it's exciting
Yeah.
time.
Right. So some of my listeners also want to know about the supply chain. So you mentioned that there are only a few people or a few companies now growing cotton in Ghana, right? So what about the supply chain, which I know that you're also going to be active in? Who
Yes.
are the actors? Is there a solid supply chain in Ghana?
So in terms of where there being a supply chain, it's mostly external. It's mostly received from external cotton suppliers. I know there are some businesses that will sell cotton seeds but source it from outside the country. What I want is for us to develop our own seeds,
Mm-hmm.
um, and grow that, develop that, and have our own and guard our own seeds. Um, Mainly because you mentioned Egyptian cotton. Egypt has copyrighted their cotton seeds. So they do not sell the seed itself any longer outside of Egypt. So unless you are farming within Egypt, you can only get the seeds in Egypt. You can't, no one can export their seeds, which I think is something we need to develop in Ghana, develop our own strain, develop our seeds and copyright it, whereas there are limitations on seed being exported to other countries. That is where we'll be able to, I believe, gain longevity and also safeguard the quality of our seeds and our cotton.
Right. So I'm happy you're doing it organically. And I know it's tough, it's difficult, right? And I've also heard you talk about non-GMO, right? So I know that this is
Yes.
going to be a tough or well, tough question for you because we of course we are outside Ghana, everybody's watching us. Yeah, for integrity's sake or for your value's sake, I just want you to talk about the non-GMO stuff, right? So you're not working with GMO seeds. Why?
Oh
Because
no.
I know that there are some companies who are also pushing the GMO stuff because of the benefits at the end. Why are you not interested in non-GMO products? Not products, the cotton.
Uh, but cotton, and not just with cotton, with other GMO products. It's and
But
let
now
me be careful.
let's limit it to the cotton
The cotton.
because
So
yeah.
it's because in other countries that I know have farmed GMO cotton, it they are not able to farm any other type of cotton that's not GMO on the land on which they farmed their GMO cotton seeds. That's one issue. They also, because with GMO it comes with it's conventional, so a lot of GMO seeds come with um other inputs of pesticides and other chemicals are already input into the seeds for them to be able to resist pests. So we are 100% organic. So we don't need any GMO cotton seeds that will um, deter pests. We're not going to use GMO cotton seeds. Also, with the countries that we've looked at that have used GMO, it's after a number of years, the soil loses elasticity. So the soil does not loses the best of its structure. Also, the output that they got from the GMO cotton seeds was extremely low compared to the non-GMO cotton that they used to farm. And these are on farms that used to farm cotton, even on a conventional scale. But with the GMO, these are the issues that they ended up struggling with. And so it's 100% no for us. It has, especially because we are 100% organic and also regenerative. We are passionate about regenerative farming, and we will not all of this that we've already seen from others. So it's important to learn from others is what's keeping us away from GMO strains of cotton seeds.
Right. I and I'm happy that you have been consistent, yeah? Because I've known you from 2019 or to 2018, 2019, and you have remained consistent, right, with your words. So for example, high grade, non GMO, organic. And I think some startups or some small companies or every big company even can learn from
Yes.
this, which I'm really, really proud of. So yes, now let's go into your personal stuff if you don't mind. I mean, if you don't want to answer, that is fine. Um, so now family stuff. Do you have any family? Like I see husband, children. No.
Of of my
I know, right?
not at the moment. I am not. I don't have. I have not married or have children at the moment, but it is something that I definitely want.
Oh, okay. So my Louise is single. All right. All right. So all the men out there, so my guest is
No, that's
single.
don't put me in trouble.
All right, lovely. So that was it, by the way. So what's next with the Michigan group? I mean, the farm side. What is next? What's
Oh,
to look out
so
for?
what's next is that we have been awarded a grant, and with the grant, we're going
Woo!
into our
Well done.
second phase.
Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So with the grant, we're going into our second phase where we're doing further testing, and more in-depth research of our strain. It's so amazing. We discovered so many things, but we know we need a bit more research. We also need to develop our product line. So we're developing our product line further. Like I said, we've had been able to hand spin part of our sample into thread. So we're going to develop that all the more, developing our lens. We have already been building relationships with potential customers. So we are looking to develop along with one of our customers that we are liaising with some where they produce certain products. I can't really go into detail because nothing has been set stone, but we're looking
Mm-hmm.
to develop a product line to get what we call as a minimal viable product, so an MVP. We have the lint, we have our sample lint, which is beautiful. We have a thread, which is hand spun, 100% hand spun, and I myself put my hand to work, which I loved. I absolutely loved it. So obviously, the ladies who did it were are in their 90s, late 80s, early 90s, and they did this as professionals from childhood when we used to grow cotton in Ghana. So they are the pros. I am not a pro. I got the gist of it, and it's such an amazing process. And I'm going to learn all the more. With a grant, we're developing our product line further so that we can get to MVP stage. And we're also going to train women and men and individuals that have physical disabilities on the hand spin aspect. I'm so excited. We'll be able to train them. Yes.
Lovely. So
We are
startups are
also, because with
watching.
our first sample, with our first sample, it was a sample site, so we've gotten more land to plant more of our cotton seeds and get
Well
a
done.
larger
Well done.
harvest.
I'm so proud of you. Well done.
Thank you,
Now I know that there are startups
thank
watching,
you.
there are young people watching, there are businesswomen, businessmen watching and listening to us live. I have learned three things from you, but I know that there are more.
Oh wow,
I've learned consistency. I've learned never to give up because you started in 2011. We are in 2023. Many people would have given up. Really? Why? But you have not
yes, thank
given up. You're still on. I've learned about research, right? So, what
you.
will you tell people who are building their businesses, people who want to start their own businesses, and people who are even scaling? What message do you have for them?
Patience, absolute patience. When I started in 2011, 2012. 2012. I thought I'll be traipsing the globe within 7 months. I thought in under a year, I'll be traipsing the globe. I'll be traveling.
I know, right?
Oh, obviously that didn't happen. I think in all of our lives there are seasons, and that the seasons where a number of our seasons are preparation. There's time to prepare. I learned a lot. I learned from especially with initially I was coming more from the heart of the people. So I'm a missionary, and I'm passionate about people being empowered, people living in dignity, people having a dignified life. So that's where I was coming from. And when I went back to London, so after Ghana, I went to Uganda and I went back to the UK. And when I was sharing my vision of what I was doing, and I started with the NGO first, every person I spoke to said, start with the business. Even though I had the whole vision and I was talking about the whole vision, I was always talking about the aspect. Also start with the business. Start with the business. And I think it's so important we learn that, if in as much as, first of all, those that have a heart for people, a passion for people, and want to see people dignified, business is key. Patience, as I mentioned, but knowing that there are seasons. This seems to have a life of its own. Like I said, I thought I'll be trips in the globe in under a year when I started, and even so it's the patience, but being ready. I think when seasons are turning within us, our spirits, our guts will kick in to say, okay, this is what you need to do now. This is what you need to do. I went on startup accelerators. I'm going to just plug this in. I know you've done it as well. I went on the Founder Institute, and I know I harassed you to go on the Founder Institute, which was great for me because even before the Founder Institute, I went on another program where it pushed me to start thinking business. So a lot of people don't have that natural business acumen. Go on startup accelerators. I always say that they are MBAs on steroids. That's what we call an accelerator, an MBA on steroids. And it's intense. They're always intense, but when you come through with a lot. So I did the initial core for FI, but I also did the agribusiness. So if you're into agribusiness, look for accelerators that cover agribusinesses, and the FI food and agribusiness ecosystem is a great accelerator to do that on. Team, we're not that many at the moment. We're currently 4, but 2 have been with me from the very beginning. And you need people who are passionate with you, who believe in what you're doing, and we're not getting paid. Everything has been off of everyone's back, but they've been amazing. They've been loyal. It's taken a really long time, and they've really stuck through, which I'm so grateful for. We are, like I said, we are 4 now, but we are looking to expand our team. Be aware of the times in which we are. So like I said, when I started out, I was focused on what was the best. At that time, organically farmed cotton was not in demand. Now it is. So the past 10, 12 years, I've studied, I've watched the market, I've learned about the different strains and types of cotton. So I'm in a much, much better position than I was in 2011 to 12. What else would I say? Get the right advisors. I've been able to meet great advisors and people who are within the industry that I'm in. So in the luxury industry, in cotton farming, specifically organically farmed cotton. That is key. And also my family, my parents, my siblings, family and friends around me have been supportive in as much as they can be supportive, because like he said, it's taken a long time. It's taken a long time. And I always joke where I say I've had this kamikaze focus. I've not looked to the left. I've not looked to the left. I've not looked to the right, because to me, this is part of what I'm meant to do whilst I'm here. But it's not really been as straightforward. So I've had support from family and friends, and as much as they've been able to, which is key. As a founder, you don't have it's lonely because not everyone will understand where you're coming from. Not everyone will understand your vision, but it also falls on you to keep driving your vision. You're the one that has the vision. You're the one that said yes to the vision. And so having the right people, having the right support, not expecting too much of people would really help as well. And being patient. I can't stress that enough. I just can't stress that enough.
Right. So, if you're still watching us or if you just joined us, thank you very much. This is Richmore Radio. This is Richmore Media. My guest today is Louise Annan, who is the founder of the Michigan Group. So Michigan Group is also into organic cotton, organic farm, organic cotton, high grade, not GMO. I love those words. If you are listening to us, thank you. This is the female show, the only show now in the world that mails the exceptional stories of women in food and agribusiness. Thank you to our sponsors, OA Pay. OA Pay, if you're in Europe and you're sending money to Ghana or to Nigeria, please use OA Pay. And if you're first timer, you have a chance of getting £10. So you use the coupon code RICHMO. RICHMO, and you're going to get your £10. It's safe, it's reliable, and you get 10 solid pounds. So please download the app now. Go to Google Store or App Store, and then download the OA Pay and start sending your money. Thank you very much for joining us today. If you're on YouTube, kindly subscribe to our channel, Richmore Media. If you're on Facebook, please subscribe to our channel as well. Richmore Media on Facebook. And then if you're listening to us on Richmore Radio in London, thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you again same time next week. Final words, Marie Louise. Do you have any final words to say to everybody now, not to only entrepreneurs, just everybody listening or watching?
I just want to encourage people. There are certain, especially in the times in which we are, to not give up and to be patient, to be gracious, to be compassionate, and to was not resilient. So yes, resilient, especially in the times in which we are, but there's a particular word, tenacity. Yes, tenacity. The hard times show us, don't they? But they also put us in positions that cause us to build up tenacity. And so things change. Like you said, I've been on this since 2011, 2012. It's 2023 now. But through not even in the past 12 years, even prior, there've been different seasons, different times. And I remember one time, a period when I was in Bible school, one of our teachers in Bible school described hard times. He loves racing, like car racing, Formula One racing. And I love that as well. And he used this analogy of hard times as pit stops. So, with car races, when they have to check guys quickly before they go on to the next lap, and they have a team of people working on repumping the tires and to do it really, really quickly. And then the driver is able to move on and continue his laps. He linked hard times to pit stops, where during pit stops, we are there might be people around us, or just one person, two people who are able to put back together, no matter what our pit stops are. But pit stops are not for us to be there for too long. So I believe with hard times, there might be a lot of depression going on. I think it's important to grieve and let our emotions out. That's the only way, not to ignore emotions, not to ignore the hard times in which we are, but grieve, let them out. I'm big on prayer. I'm very big on that, which has helped me. I have a people I pray with, people I talk to, found things I love and enjoy. So as founders, as people, have a support team. It could be one, it could be two. Do things that you love, that you can do. If there's something that you can watch that makes you laugh and helps you with your emotions, do that. And just be patient. And I pray that we'll all be gracious and patient with one another as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So Mary Louise said, be patient, be patient, be patient. Have tenacity, surround yourself with the right people, the right team, then get support system because you're going to break down along the way, but you need that support system to get you up. So your family, your friends, your support system, please get that right. So thank you very much, Mary Louise, and to OAP, thank you very much. Oh, you mentioned Formula One. So my CEO, the CEO
Yes.
of Richmond Media, is number one huge fan of Formula One. So wherever you
So
are,
then
Sir Bobby,
he understood the pit stop analogy.
yes, he can definitely. Wherever you are, Sir Bobby, hello. Thank you for giving us this platform. So, everyone watching and listening to us, thank you very much for watching. Thank you, Mary Louise, for coming on, and thank you. So, be patient, do your research, get yourself surrounded with the right people, and of course, your support system. Thank you, and see you next week, same time. Bye.
Thank you.
This is The Female Show with Nana Adjoa Sifa. You are watching The Female Show with Nana Adjoa Sifa. This is The Female Show, the show that nails the exceptional stories of females in the agribusiness and food industry.